Mr. Laschet, a new chapter in transatlantic relations seems to be open now. What's your take on this?
We are indeed seeing a fundamental transformation in American foreign policy. The theory of my country first is out and multilateral cooperation is being restored again. The US is returning to the World Health Organization, it's engaging at the United Nations again, and it's reviving the G7 process as we just saw over the weekend. And I believe we should seize this moment. The President's idea of a coalition of democracies around the world that work closely together is a particular opportunity for Europe and for Germany to be strongly involved.
And what role must and can Germany play in this process?
Germany, first of all, has to play an active role within the European Union. As the largest country and having a responsibility to keep the European Union together. I also think that together with France it should get the process started of establishing a stronger European foreign policy. The European Union as a whole can then play a role in contributing to freedom, peace and human rights in many parts of the world, together with the United States. Germany should play an active role there.
NATO General Secretary Jens Stoltenberg is asking for a clear standpoint towards Russia and China. What could this look like?
Well, a clear stance means, of course, sticking to our principles. We don't tolerate breaches of international law. This applies to the annexation of Crimea, which is a violation of international law. But a clear stance does not rule out the need to find ways to work together. It's integral to foreign policy that you try to find common ground even with countries that have a different model of society. Take the fight against climate change. It's not going to be possible without Russia or without China. Our economic relations also wouldn't function without these two countries, so a clear stance when it comes to our principles, but still looking for ways to work together, that's my approach.
A clearer standpoint towards Russia, what does that exactly mean for you?
People calling for a tougher approach need to say what they mean by a tougher approach. We have sanctions, but breaking off diplomatic relations or anything like that will be wrong. When things get difficult, you have to talk more, not less. That's why it's a good thing that Joe Biden, the American president, will be meeting President Putin in the next few days. The American and Russian presidents meeting again at last. That's more important than ever in times of crisis.
And what about Germany? Should Germany set a tougher agenda towards Russia?
I don't see that as necessary. Germany's policy towards Russia is embedded in European policy. Germany is part of the Minsk process, and Germany and France are trying within the Normandy format, together with Russia and Ukraine, to contribute to peace. Our position on international law is clear, and the cooperation projects that we have with Russia need to be strengthened too.
There are talks between the US and Germany about Nord Stream 2. What are the preconditions so that Nord Stream 2 can actually go online?
My position on this has been clear from the start. We need this pipeline. It's a commercial project to supply energy, and there's been one condition all along. It must not be to the detriment of Ukraine in geopolitical terms. This pipeline must not be used to blackmail Ukraine or the Baltic states or Poland. But once it's been built, it will be an additional good part of the energy supply. And the pipeline will go into operation this year. And when the gas starts flowing, we need to keep a close eye on these geopolitical rules and on the protection of Ukraine. And that's been agreed on a European level too.
The human rights abuses in Belarus were part of the discussion at the G7 meeting. You met Svetlana Tikhanovskaya personally. She's the opposition leader in Belarus, and she's asking for tougher sanctions. What could tougher sanctions look like?
Yes, I've talked about precisely this question with her myself. Which sanctions should be imposed? Which sanctions hit the population and which ones have a genuine impact? The first sanctions that we decided on banned the Belarusian airlines from flying over European Union territory. Likewise, not flying from our side over Belarus, which also hits the state financially. Then putting officials involved in human rights violations directly or indirectly on the targeted sanction list. Some of these officials have their own business interests, including President Lukashenko himself. In their activities, their companies need to come into the European Union sanction regime. That hasn't happened yet. That is what I would like to see, expanding the sanctions to increase targeted pressure on President Lukashenko.
Mr. Laschet, thank you very much for the interview.